The next series of claims amuses me. We brought down their website. This is true. Its purpose was to bring attention back to the organization known as Scientology, and it was done with great success. We cannot deny that what we did was not right, but this was the same thing that they did to Anthony Walter on June 17, 2006. Anthony was a victim of Scientology's aggressive policies back in 2006. Although his story has faded into some obscurity, his battle with Scientology has not been forgotten by me. I will give a very brief summary of why Scientology attacked him, what they did to him, and how Anthony beat them. Anthony wrote a scathing, in-depth article about Scientology on his site, codebot.org, while he lived near the Scientologist's main base in Clearwater, Florida. His internet service provider hosting his website got a letter from the Scientology legal office, and his site was shut down. Instead of removing it completely, Scientologists placed a forwarding link to their own website, so when someone went to codebot.org, they actually went to the Scientology homepage. A full investigative review by the same author of The UN Funny Truth About Scientology, Smooth Media, published this story and can be found as The UN Funny Sequel About Scientology. And Anthony is probably one small example. Who knows what other websites were shut down, or message boards were deleted. Anthony won in the end, and got his site back from the Scientologists thanks to Gregory Beck of the Public Citizen Litigation Group, who offered his legal services to assist Anthony against the Scientologists. Once again, Scientology has seemed to have forgotten that they are worse than us. As for the next part, about the intimidating phone calls, knowing fully your policies, the question that we must ask is, how many of those are legit anonymous callers, and how many are your own manufactured attempts to discredit us? It is a policy stated clearly several times by your own peoples, in speeches and quoted by L. Ron Hubbard himself, to find all crimes pertaining to an individual, and if none can be found, to manufacture them. What stops Scientologists from manufacturing crap like this? The answer is nothing, and after Operation Freak Out, I would recommend people to at least use Google and read a little about Paula Cooper's experiences at the hands of the Scientologists. Because of this, because of what you have done, your organization have no right to whine about death threats when you ruined a young woman's life, and quite possibly would have killed her if the chance presented itself. The organization of Scientology has sent massive amounts of death threats over the past 5 decades. If any threats were delivered by Anonymous, it would have been empty threats filled with a less sinister objective in mind. If I requested letters from those who were hampered by Scientology, how many death threats would I get forwarded from those people? In fact, I wish to make a request. If you have any letters of intimidation by the Church of Scientology, then please forward them to me. I will include it in the DVD. Names will be removed, so that Scientology will not know who sent them. Perhaps we could manufacture our own. I have already seen several threats in YouTube comments. As for the white powder that was sent to Scientology churches nationwide, it was a hoax, and most probably yet another manufactured attempt to discredit us. It is a well-known fact that Scientologists would go this far, in fact, perhaps even further to prevent the truth from reaching out. Another strange detail was that while you claim to have been sent this white powder at 24 churches, according to initial reports, only 19 addresses had been mailed to, as was reported by several news groups. Maybe I am overlooking something, or reading too deep, but I doubt any anonymous would go through the effort or lengths to mail a letter. Sending a letter is too UN anonymous-like. You have to go to a post office, which is far too much effort for an anonymous. Then, postage needs to be bought, which is too expensive for anonymous. Why waste perfectly good money on postage, when there is sheet cans to be bought? Not only that, there were no fingerprints reported to have been found. Such a clear-cut way in covering their tracks, and after the Scientologists messed up in Operation Snow White, I doubt they would leave traceable marks leading back to them. If possible, can someone get their hands on photos of the envelopes? Were they sent from the same place? How far is that place from a Scientology center? Did the person go to a post office, or use a mailbox? Where was the mailbox located? With enough evidence, we could probably come up with the truth. Then they say that they were shot at. When and where? And if it was true, why was it not brought to anonymous attention straight away? And I like how they implemented the sound effects. It is impossible for anyone to have gone close enough to fire rounds into a Scientology center. Your logic is flawed. You have cameras everywhere pointing at almost every point in your area. That is no secret, as I have videos of several areas of several of your offices, and there are cameras everywhere. If someone had fired rounds, it would have most certainly been caught on video. Not only that, unless your security has declined exponentially, I doubt that anyone could have gotten near your building because of your security teams. Once again, you fail, Scientologists. You have just shot yourself in the foot with your pathetic attempts at defaming our cause. The same issue with the vandalism. How can anyone get close enough to any part of any of your buildings? If someone did that alone, they would have probably been murdered, and if there was a group, it would have most certainly been noticed by your security teams. Not only that, what about how you vandalized Lisa McPherson's memorial? Who else would have destroyed it besides Scientology members, and what has this blatant act of vandalism avoided? The answer is simple. You believe that you can treat others like crap, yet when it comes to your own agendas you believe yourselves to be in the clear. Well, no more. We will not stand for it. Apologize for the public defacing of this memorial, dedicated to someone who was murdered by your organization. Not only that, it was convenient that you missed out February 10th when you were going through your dates. February 10th was when you had anonymous protesters peacefully protesting outside your churches. These protests were peaceful, and even in the face of old Beijing, Anonymous remained calm and cool, while your Special Operations Unit freaked out and tried to photograph the faces under the mask. Why would peaceful protesters use violence? It would weaken our stance. You have once again compiled a great big vat of hypocrisy, and the more you try to liquidate us, the more our cause is resolved. But you can't mention that over 9,000 members of Anonymous were outside celebrating the life of Lisa McPherson, who was callously robbed of life through your introspection rundown, who was murdered by the Church of Scientology. Of course, mentioning that would not be very well suited for your own means. Then we come to the final threat. According to the video, we were going to pack 5 kilograms of nitroglycerin into Scientology centers and cause massive loss of life. As mentioned before, I think if any Anonymous tried to go near any Scientology center, that person would be shot dead for trespassing before being able to put a second foot down. It is not possible for anyone that is unauthorized to go near a Scientology center. That was proven numerous times in affidavits, videos, some wise beard man, and testimonies. Another thing, what is the most logical and hidden spot in the church? I have never seen the inside of a Scientology church, but I am sure it's decorated with cameras pointing in every direction, and therefore would be able to see all and know all that goes on inside.